Hello? Hello. Can you see my video somehow? Damn. Yeah. Yeah, it has been a while since I used this too, so let me see what I can do. My camera is on. I think I'll have to restart the Chrome. I can see your camera, yeah. And my camera still doesn't work. And does anyone know how to make the video work for Roll20? Yeah. Yeah, it is set on those. I just restarted it. Still not working. Weird. Now we need to Jacob and oh, you're on. Damn. That's tragic. If you don't have camera, I guess that's fine. I like to see people's face though. But yeah. um. Okay. And Strike is not here, right? So we need to put him in the chat. we put in the strike and then we get Matt, then we should be good. Yeah. Matt will be late, according to him, as I mentioned in the chat. So, yeah. Oh, greetings. Hello. And now we have everyone but one person. And we have Jacob here with the red-headed... He said he doesn't have camera, so we'll only hear his voice and we'll imagine the beautiful-looking, handsome, very toned mess. It looks fine enough. Yeah. I'm the only one with an actual webcam. Yes. Okay, so... Matt is expected to be late, so I think we should start right now. So... Yes. So let me get the link that I posted. I just closed the Chrome because my camera wasn't working. Yeah, I want to open up the Google Doc and then I want to go through the list that I uploaded for the Dropbox link that I sent you guys. And then I'll record down the what we discussed in the Google Doc that we talked about so that we can remember and I can prepare the session for the next time. So before we actually go into the tiny details about what characters are going to be about, I want to discuss about very important thing. So I haven't posted any information regarding the session lengths. So what do you think the ideal session length should be? Yeah, usually I go for 2 to 3 hours, so 2.5-hour average or 5-hour average. So yeah, usually one of those two. But if you guys prefer one over the other, if you can voice it so that we can be make sure everyone on the same page. Okay. And okay, so we're going for the general 4-hour. What do you think, Jacob? 5 is fine. Okay, so 4 to 5-hour session we'll go for. Yeah. Okay. And the starting hour this time is good for everyone, right? For every week. And if someone has an emergency, usually what I would do in the campaign is that I would put that person phase out so that you can technically have, if he has any important quest items, it was magically handed over to someone else in the same group. But usually we don't like to touch that person's inventory, and we just continue the game with 3-person. Like right now, Matt is not here, but I hope he join us too. Yep, if that is how you guys like to do it, that's fine. But if you guys have any better suggestions, then I'm willing to listen and then trying out. Is there any ideas about what we should do about this? If there's no ideas, we'll just proceed. Okay, if you have any suggestions for improving the gameplay, then please talk to me after the game, likely. because in the middle of the game, likely it is we don't want to waste any time discussing the rules. So if you bring me up in any suggestions about how I can make the game better, then I will change the campaign in order to fit your desire. Next thing, yeah. This will be the 5e campaign, yeah. But I will be doing the homebrew. And regarding... Yes, homebrew, yeah! But you can still use all the gods, and I try to make this homebrew campaign as familiar as possible with the player's handbook, so that everything in the player's handbook will be true, and everything in the Dungeon Master's guide or the Monster's guides will almost be true. And everything other than that, let's say if anyone has read additional campaign books or any books regarding Bolo's guide and stuff like that, those may not be true in my campaign. And I will likely bring in the like custom-made monsters and whatnot, but we can discuss about those later. And about the game's expectation, I want to discuss about the general settings of the world that you guys want to play in. So I have posted about like what kind of atmosphere and what kind of environment that you guys want to be playing in. So as an example, some of the other players that I have heard, they are not typically the role-playing person, so that he wanted more of an exploration. So that he wanted an environment where there'll be a few little people, and then with less monarchs, because generally they're the very powerful persons, and then less of those, so the world is more of a wilderness, and then you want to go on explore the ruins and then the traps. Those are the one example of what the campaign could be. So what kind of campaign would you like to experience? In terms of, yeah. Ah, the most saddening answer. Yeah. Hmm. Well, yeah. Yeah, Asimar, it makes a little sense for people to be racist. I mean, it's a rare race. People don't usually play that race. How about the Shrek and Jacob? What is there any campaign that you have in mind that you want to play? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you two guys are happy with any type of campaigns that I'm willing to draw up. Okay, how about the Shrek? Wow. That TM is pretty brutal, I would say. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then I will try to direct more of the campaign towards the classical terms, so less of the technologies, and then I'll try to minimize the towns, because I think the Matt wanted to play steampunk-ish, so that I'll put some towns around that, but I'll have most of the areas based on the like old time, like religious heavy, and that type of theme. Yeah. Okay. Most world should Oh, you're having a lag. Yeah, we can have a steampunk type of villain. Um, if you have any stories that you want to uh, pitch, that's also good too. So, for example, you can say that your character has some sort of relationship. For example, he killed your family, which is very tragical story. But let's because it's so used commonly. But let's say you have some sort of a personal quarrel with the steampunk villain, then we can introduce that into our campaign so that we possibly all the group has to do something with that villain if you would like to. Is that something that you want to preach? Do you want steampunk villain? Yeah. Okay. If you have any, yeah, if you have any, generally for the this campaign, as I mentioned in the description, I want it to be relatively role playing heavy. So that if you have a more polished character, such as relationship with your families, friends, or the people around you, then the better the campaign will feel for you. So that I recommend thinking more polished ideas for your characters and the backgrounds. So if you would, you read the in the recruitment sheet there was how to write a background story, right? Yeah, so if you go through that and then you don't have to follow all of those, but at least like give it a chance and then like see what you're missing about the characters that you know. If you, I know that many people doesn't work, their brains doesn't work exactly that way. So that if you're not the planning type, then you could develop the things as you go if you would like to. I prefer the characters pre-developed in the first place though. But yeah, Jacob and Strike, is there anything that you would like to see in my campaign? Like any cool encounters or any cool villains that you have thought of or the storylines? Imprisoned. So you want the escaping campaign. Okay, prison break. Okay, action packed. Okay. Also, yeah, this if we will come back to you, Strike, for the thing, but it is a good, also good to have a generally similar alignment, so that we will discuss about the like what type of alignment that you guys want to play at the together. Yeah. So back to you. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to suggest, Strike? Prison Break and any more ideas about that? Yeah. So if you think the Prison Break is cool, then you can like add some more stops on it. I think there's a delay on the chat. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so lots of knowledges, ruins, and speeches that will amaze your characters. And um, that should be incorporated. I don't think you will be breaking out from the prison forever. So likely we can start out the campaign as a breaking out, if you guys are okay with that, yeah? Okay. Is there any polished idea that you guys would like to start from? For example, we mentioned we drew a lot of stuffs out. For example, like breaking out the prison or like a slave master, right? So, is there any like specifics that you want to incorporate? For example, let's say you were framed all together, or when you guys are just like guarding the yeah. So you think your character will be imprisoned because you had a fight with an orc? Okay, I can work with that. Is there? So I would like usually for all the characters to be joined together in one group and idea because at the end we want to have a team play where players would help each other. So let's say Chris's character was hitting an orc, and like, would you guys want to be around it, or do you guys want to incorporate your backgrounds into separate ideas? So that you could be in that scene as a part of it, or something else. For example, you could be an orc yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit of worrying though. I when I read that, first thing that I was worrying is that one more characters. I have seen many people trying it. I tried it and my friends tried it. For example, my friend he tried to play someone who is a mute, and then he would do everything by gestures and then like and stuff like that and like growlings, and it's fun for first one or two or three campaigns, but after that it got really hard for him to play because he wanted to express this idea but he couldn't do it very efficiently, so that I let him to change his character a little bit so that he speaks more and then he speaks more and he starts speaking more. So I'm saying that that's the one thing that happened to him, so that consider that that is a possibility that you can do if you are not enjoying with your character. Then you're always willing to try, like changing it to better direction. But yeah, and but anyhow, is there anything that you like to hook yourself up like with this him hitting the orc background or yeah? So how did you get? Yeah. So you want to be learning to how to like learning about the orc society? Yeah, that is a good idea, but I'm saying that how would you like to hook your characters background with the Chris's background? Or you can do it the other way. No, it's fine. Everyone's background is just precious. So that it could be that the when you were studying the other culture, maybe orcs intervened and then the Chris helped you. Something like that could happen too. Just throwing out ideas, and maybe it would be something that the Jacob did as well. This is a good time. Yeah, but the characters, what it does, could become later. But the how you met and then the personality could be crafted like much before. Yeah. That's why it's good to have water beside you. But yeah, what do you think about the idea from the Jacob watching an orc village and the scouts started to attack you? Okay. So Jacob, I know that you're flexible, but I think this is a good time to narrow down your characters into something that we all can incorporate together. The core of the thing is what do you want to be, and then from that, work with the group. And as additional thing, the Matt wanted to be artificer. Is very interesting. One of my favorite streamer was hating on it, so I'm like, yeah, but it's pretty fun. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get the private message from Matt. It's quite confusing how the messaging system works in Roll20. Yeah. How do I even see the messages? I don't even... Hmm? Oh, there we go. Oh no, I found it. This one. Yeah. So he says that he likes a high fantasy, like the Game of Thrones type of thing. So that I think he want me to implement some politics and things going on behind or something like that. If you guys are okay. Okay. Game of Thrones. Oh, how? My goodness. You guys have a lot to go in your life. uh, but it's yeah, it will be. You will become one. Join us. Yes, it's like zombies. Yeah. Your voices are cutting out a little bit. So yeah, Jacob, are you ready with your characters? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, another star kind of works for me. Yeah. Just send me all the related materials that you want me to read. Because I have read most of the Nurse Arcana, but I may be forgetting about what you specifically mentioned or have different versions of it. So if you send me a specific version, I'll be only using that version. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Infested! So racist! Oh my goodness! This village is infested with Asians! Oh my! uh, your guy is Soul Eater? Your guy is Soul Eater? What? Can you repeat that? Oh, Soldier! Yes, yes, yes. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. Are you currently a soldier, or were you a soldier once, but not anymore? So he left the army, right? Okay. If he is currently in the army, maybe you're there for a mission to do something about the infestation, and maybe it. Yeah. And then you happen to tumble around with those two, and then maybe all of you were captured by the orc warlord, and then maybe you're trying to escape from there. How does that sound? Okay. I was gonna suggest something like Strike and Jacob working together in the background. If you like, what do you guys think about that? Because it seems like both of you guys are looking for ruins and knowledges about different areas, right? Because what do you guys think about working together as a team? Okay, so a million and two questions. Yeah. So Jacob knows. Hmm. Yes. And so you know the wilderness, and then one knows the city, so that you guys decide to join together. And while you're seeking out what these orcs are doing in this village, you notice Chris is fighting a bunch of orcs, and then you are probably dressed as one of the soldiers, I believe. And you will get yourself captured, and all three of you guys will be captured, and we will be starting a campaign from breaking out from the prison. Yeah, does that sounds good? So I'll prepare some campaign regarding that type of starting. I think for the start it is good enough. Let's go to the others in the list. I want to talk. Unless there's any more suggestions. Is there any more suggestions about what should be happening before the campaign starts? No, I think it's by all means to say it so that we can hear it, and then we can like anything that you say will make the campaign more relatable to you because you come up with this, and it is a great idea. Then we all want to hear about it. So place that you guys get captured is Silk Road, basically. And is important trade routes, and then that place was blocked by the orcs. So that some citizen were in real trouble. That's why you came here to investigate as a scout. Yeah. Okay. We can work with that. I think that's a great background story to put in as why the orcs are there, and then something to think about, and then something that I can work more with. Oh, richer backgrounds. Yes. Yeah. Is there anything else? Okay. And I want to talk about the campaigns in specific. So we all said that the campaign will be in fantasy. It will be probably it could be dark fantasy or high fantasy. I'll try to go in somewhere between if you guys have no preference. Is there any preference between or one to the other? So dark fantasy will be more like yeah, dark fantasy will be more like your castle is ruled by a vampire lord, and there will be a bunch of slaves, and then you will be fighting of like your lord is undead, and there will be like what kings and lords will be like Lich King and that type of stuff. And high fantasy will be more like, well, you guys have regular kings, and they're fighting for powers, and then they're fighting for like what they believe in as a religion and stuff like that. It's certainly a different feeling. Yeah, both of them will be. Yeah. All right, then I think all four of you likes the high fantasy a little bit compared to the dark fantasy, so I'll try to go with the high fantasy in general. Um, yep, those are generally dark fantasy. Yeah, Cthulhu's and those type of things are generally very dark fantasy. Yeah. And about the tone of the campaign, so we are in the high fantasy settings, and what do you guys want to experience in this? For example, even in the dark fantasy, you can have a very bright tone, such as there will be a bunch of skeletons, and then you're all drumming the heads of the skeletons, and then all having a good laughs. So you can have a very bright tone. You can have a darker tone. Have you guys played Darkest Dungeon? Are you guys? It's an amazing game, but the like really dark time of like even the kings are fighting, but you see a bunch of orphans on the streets, and then they're crying of the like crying for help, and the campaign could be in the darker feeling in terms of so that the what kinds of feels and emotions and atmosphere that you guys want to experience. Is there any preference? That's very vague. That's also very vague. Yeah. Vague is fine. Vague is fine. Yes, right? Okay. Uh, I'll try to put the campaign in a little bit cheerful tones. The thing is, generally all the like I am actually very used to running the very dark campaigns because all my previous players were quite dark. So I think it will be darker in yes. Yeah, but I won't go too dark, and I'll try to make it. There will be moments of bright laughter. I'll try. Um, um, expectations and about the this now that's the general world. We're going to be playing the high fantasy, and then the world will be relatively dark, but I'll try to make it as bright as possible. And about the like, I want to talk about a little bit tiny things, like because I'm not very used to Roll20. Usually when I'm campaigning, I use a whiteboard and I draw stuff on that, but I think it will be very hard for me to do it. I'll try. I have a tablet, so I'll try to practice something on the Roll20, but I think the maps and combats will likely look very primitive in terms of things. Um, yeah, if you guys any suggestions to make it better or anything that you want me to do, like in terms of like how much you care about like this specific aspect. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be using the uh, most of the characters or the walls. I'll be probably just be using squares. Like simply is easier to do it, and then I won't be going having too art heavy stuffs. Um, and for the alignments that we want to talk about, so what alignments of characters that are you guys planning to play? Let's go one by one. How about Chris? Well, your name starts with C, so that's the destiny that was given to you because you're on the leftmost. Yes. So lawful, you're saying you want to play? Yeah. You want to play lawful, but you punch orcs. So yeah, that makes sense for the encounters, but there is a points to think about when you are, let's say, in the tavern, and then orcs is just there, is drinking and making large noises, and well, this is a character choices still. Yeah. Okay. How about the Jacob? What kind of alignment do you like to play? Hmm. Okay. How about strike? So you're willing to sway your alliance, but what do you want to start with? And so you're saying that you want to go with the group? That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So more like you're going to reflect what the world shows you. Okay. So far we have lawful and neutral neutral. This means that I'm gonna have a very big surprise in the middle of campaign as I'll find out the true affinity of your playstyle. Um, but yeah, I think for now it'll be fine. Just to remember that the if the characters has differences, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the internet and stuffs are quite fishy. But if you guys have later in the time, if you find that your characters are at sometimes one character will not like what the other player's character would do, right, in the game, and then those situations are bound to come. So when the disputes happen, how would you guys to like resolve it? So that we have both of them, so that we have a system set up, so that we have a way to resolve a dispute, so that the two characters can be happy and two players can be happy. So that the one player will be losing on purpose as you're telling the other character about how to persuade your characters and such. You could go like that. Or you guys try to stay in character as much as possible. But usually in that type, always a one-word guard will be a little bit hard to discuss. But yeah, is there any type of dispute system that you have experienced before and you would like to suggest? Yeah, that's always a good start. Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's say that Chris has he has an hatred to this orc, and let's say there is this group of orcs that are currently captured by you guys, and then they are constantly saying like doing all these hate speeches about how they're going to like murder your families, and they're going to threaten that they will come back with more of the hordes and they're going to wipe you all out. And let's say Chris's character is very tempted to at least make them shut up by punching them and whatnot, but the someone in specific mentioned that one of you guys should put him in check so that these hostages will not get hurt and that they'll be used as a bargaining chip. So in that type of situation, there is two. Well, right now I given the situation, but let's say the Strike or Jacob really wanted to protect those orcs. That you two guys groups, or at least has interest, conflicts of interest. What do you guys like to do? You want, well, orcs are hostages. You guys took them as hostages. They say that if you let them live, then they're gonna do great harm to you. Yeah. hmm So in-game persuasion. Yeah. And also, what do you generally I do not let the persuasion rolls between characters unless the person who is being persuaded allows it, and he will set up the DC, and generally, like if he like to be persuaded, then he will have to lower DC, and then if he doesn't like to be persuaded because it goes against the character, have a higher DC. What do you guys think about that type of system? Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. And generally, I would like to have something called a leader in the group. And the point of the leader is not actually being the like leader of the group, but as a player, if there is two exactly same things that you guys think, and then like you guys are just a tie and cannot decide which one to do because there is two-person who wants to do one thing and there's a two-person who wants to do the other thing. And then I've seen some cases where for 20 minutes players discuss pros and cons of each of the options, but they're exactly at ties. So that I need to have someone who need to act as a natural tiebreaker. So that if there is a tie, then we will go to that person and then make that person leave a decision. So that this likely can change at a later time, but for now, is there anyone who would like to be a leader in the group? Yeah. Well, doesn't have to be like in character. If in character disputes are solved, then we don't need this leader's role, right? This is for purely the player purposes. So strike will go by the default. What about you, Jacob? So that means Jacob will lead, and then if Jacob doesn't want to lead, then the strike will be a lead. Yeah. Okay. Only thing this will do is that your role is to resolve player conflicts as easily as possible. And if there is nothing happening in the campaign, let's say that everyone doesn't know what to do, then please try to move the plot in some way. Yeah, as a leader. And a secondary leader, strike. There we go. That's for the disputes. And we set the alignments. I think we are generally neutral based. So that I think the game will be pretty neutral. It's really hard to predict. I'm pretty sure it will show one type of a pattern at some point, but we can talk about that at that point. If it goes too evil, because I had a one neutral party and then they were killing children and whatnot in the later campaigns, so yeah. There was a kids coming out from the cave in the dark, and then someone used a spear to kill the kid, and then they were using the kid as a mid shield. And later in the time, they were doing the drug dealing. So I'm like, well, you guys supposed to be good campaign, but all right. So surprises there. Yeah, and there are a few mentions that I want to do like quickly about like how we should play the game. There are a few things that I mentioned in the thing, but I think I forgot to mention one thing that like I've seen some characters trying to go sexual a little bit on the NPC, like or the between in characters, and I would say that we should refrain from that as much as possible because it's really hard to DM that type of situation in the long run. So yeah, no sex, no sexual gestures in the campaign as much as possible. And let's see. The feedback, descriptive combat, rolling guidelines, language properties, commitment to consistency. And I want to talk about the EXP. Is there usually I go by the how do you say by what you did? So that but I could go by the books. So that if there's any system in terms of EXP that you guys prefer, then I can implement that. So yeah, is there any? Yeah, the one-ups are. Yeah. Yeah, I usually do by the waypoints, but I'm saying that if you would prefer to get an EXP with the combat instead, then yeah, then I'll. Okay, if strike has nothing, then I will say that I will still roll with a waypoint. And what this means that the combats are relatively discouraged in a way because previously in the traditional campaign you have to do the combat in order to gain the EXP. But I will gain the EXP by the milestone. Therefore, you can avoid combat in any however way you want. And then you will see that later in the time you will see that most of the roots that you get from killing the monsters are generally low. So that this will likely discourage the combat, and I want everyone to be aware of this point before we move on to the next, yeah? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. EXP. And something that I want to say is that I want to record the sessions so that we have a record of what have happened. And then I will not release it in public unless everyone wants to for some reason. I will have it unlisted and then I'll send the links to you guys, yeah? Okay. And also one thing that I want to mention is that everyone, like as a player, if one person, one character is not doing very well, for example, let's say you notice someone, let's say the one-word guard is not very good at speaking and he's just standing there, and then the player doesn't know what to do. Then let's say you all should try to encourage each other players to shine a little bit by helping each other. So that if you notice that one person is not having as much fun as possible, then talk to them in characters, or trying to ask them their opinions about what to do, so that they have more engagement into the campaign. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that I just tell every player, because it's a team game. Yeah. And about the total campaign length, how long do you want or expect the campaign to last, so that I can change how fast I would go like the campaigns. Depends, because some campaigns could go for years. Generally, the campaigns that I have ran at least went nearly a year. So that it's a different type of expectation that you can have, right? Because showing up every Saturday for this long period could be like heavily, or we may need like to readjust schedule every like X duration that we have set, so that we can like be more expected about like changes or the campaign duration. Or like let's say we have end of campaign like part 1 at this point, and then we will discuss about what we want to do from there. So that if anyone wants to change the characters or wants to do anything more about like changing backgrounds or implementing some other features, then we can do it then. So yeah, if there is any, what do you think the expected duration for you be? Okay, very long campaigns are fine, and okay, straight. Okay, so campaign duration, we're expecting a very long campaign. No one. Okay. More readings for me. So we discussed players' expectation and my expectation of how the game will be done, and the total campaign's lengths and the theme and tones, and then I mentioned that the roleplay will be a little bit more heavy, and story and adventures guideline. Likely for my campaign, the gameplay will not be linear, and if you guys want to turn around, let's say there is a kidnapped girl and then you just want to ignore that girl and then go to the other town because your character has more personal story, then I will work all around it and then try to be as free as possible. This may not be linear. That means that sometimes there will be time where you may not sure, you're maybe not sure about what to do because maybe there are too many options, or you just don't know what I'm suggesting. But I want it to be non-linear, and then I want you to be as free as possible in terms of playing the game. Yeah. So do take the wheel and then try to drive forward. Unless you guys want to play linear game. Yeah, it's hard to tell unless you actually try it. And for the equipments, well, Chris is not here, but generally you can have a shared gold and whatnot, and then in terms of a root distribution, there could be a hard time when to distribute the root. And usually what I recommend is I'll give what you guys all get to players and then they'll distribute, but some characters argue that, well, my character would sneak some more goals out of it, and such a things like that. So how would you guys like to deal with the roots? Is there any ideas? Loots? My pronunciation, my R and L pronunciation are horrible. It's a Korean thing, because both of them is a L sound. Shared pod meaning that you want to share the inventory as a whole? Okay. In that case, I want to have at least one person responsible for that inventory, so that that person will keep track of what's in the inventory, and it will be responsible to it. And so likely that person should be sharing it if person is not available for that day, so that everyone can play with the inventory. Yeah, so, well, right now is only you two, so that, oh. Yeah, so that person will be then writing because I will be doing some other stuff, because more time that I can use to prepare is actually better than inventory management, so that I want a player to take the responsibility of writing that into that shared document. So would you guys like to volunteer? Your voice cut off for a short period of time. Can you repeat that? Oh, it's fine. We have, well, myself is born in Korea and I stayed in Canada for a very long time, but I'm still English is my second language, and I think we have two more person in our team who is has English as a secondary language. So I think spelling is not an issue. Probably you have the best spelling among all of us. Yeah, inventory management. Will keep track shared and strike. So we will keep all the inventory shared, and then we will strike it. And then, is there anything that you guys like to do about the weight? So, or do you guys like also there are very tiny systems that the D&D implements in order to limit what the players can do. Weighting system by the strengths, because strengths is generally one of the weakest stat, and then that's why it has a bonus of you having more weight carrying. And is there anything that you guys like to do about that? Like, for example, you could say that I absolutely hate inventory management or something like that. What do you guys like to do? Okay, so we will say that um, so you're okay with weight management. Okay. Okay. What about you, Jacob? Okay, so we just need the Chris. Zed is not here, and then the other person, Matt, who is not here. Well, I wonder if we should wait until we progress further. Should we wait? Or do you guys want to get the washroom and stuff like that? Maybe be back in like 5 minutes or something? Okay. I'll go to washroom maybe. If you guys have any questions or something to talk to me about, you can speak now, so that yeah, while the Chris is away. Yeah. Feats. Mm-hmm. Your voice just cut out. Can you repeat that part? Oh my goodness! The exact moment where the sentence that mattered just cut out again. Okay. Yeah. Attunement slot. Oh, interesting. That's one thing that we should talk about as well, the frequency of magic items that you want to see in the game, because for the other campaigns, we didn't discuss that, and then as we progresses, I don't give out too many magic items in the earlier games. I give out magic items for like level 8s or 10s or above, but before that I don't usually give out the magic items because systems. But the attunement slot does sounds fair, at least at this point. At later level, it could be broken. But you're sacrificing a little bit. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah. Uh, in your past campaigns, what was the level of the general characters in that campaign? Yeah. Pretty good. Yep. I think that it is fair to have a 2-minute slot. Although I would recommend getting a feat because I think it says more about like who your character is. Um, oh, not about the power level, but like let's say you get observant, then that tells a portion about like who your character is, so that you are like observing the ruins, and then like you are like more care to the details and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of RP, I would like to discourage it, but I think that's okay rule. But yeah, I think that's also an option that is fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So I'll write that down as a additional rule. As an instead of getting um, ability score increase. I can see it being very good if you have like tons of magical items late game. Because later in the time, like you don't need any stats and then you don't need any perks because you already got all of them. And more anything, only thing that you need is more acumen so that you can actually use those magic items that you got. Um, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair. I would later in the time, just a little bit later when the Chris is back, want to talk about like the amount of magic items that you expect to see in my campaign, so that I can adjust the routes according to that. But they're not there, so yeah. From that, we will see like how many magic items that you guys see. Um, yeah, and the amount of gold. So for the other campaigns that I did, this is not this campaign. I want to hear you guys' opinion first. But for the other campaigns, I let them write more background stories, and then I rewarded 100 gold per paragraph. And then I let them buy the magic items with the starting gold that caused like a huge amount of surge in the starting gold at the beginning. So that someone wrote like 20 back or 20 paragraphs, and I kept it at 2,000 gold from there, so that I gave them 2,000 gold at the starting because they wrote a lot, and then I really wanted players to write more about their backgrounds and characters, so that I could do something like that this game as well. But yeah, and also for the other game, I gave each characters a feat. Actually, I didn't call it a feat, a perk, some sort of a custom thing for that character that represents his background. So that, for example, there was an illusionist for one character, and then he was like level 2 illusionist, and then was doing the dice, and then was using the illusions to fool people in the gambling. So that one of the feat that I gave him is that one of the perk that I gave him is that his illusions can be extremely precise, so that you can cast the illusion on the like spinning die, so that you can make the illusions move with the die with extreme precisions. And some small perks like that I have given out. Depends on the backgrounds and depends on the power level that you guys want to be at. I think it is a good idea to talk about when Chris comes back. Where is he? But yeah. Yeah. Because it's extra gold. uh, but yeah, people. Before that, we should talk about like the amount of magic items that you expect to encounter in the game, and yeah. We could have a, because depends on the scarcity of the magic items. I could have a different world created. For example, the other campaign had a demonic tiefling setting up a magic store in every major city to sell a magic item. So that it's not actually that hard as long as you have gold to get it, because there's merchants to do it. But we could say that it's more scarcity than that. It's actually like, if you have it, then you're like the strongest guy in the entire legion, because it is magical, and because in many of the fantasies it actually goes like that. So that's more traditional way of doing it, with no magic shop and nothing. So that we could discuss about like what kind of way that we want to take this in. So if you have any ideas, you can speak now so that we can discuss more about later. But yeah, or any other questions really. You can ask me about myself, or the other like experience that I had with the thing, or rulings that you had. If you have a trouble with your previous DM, or let's say you didn't like one thing that the deck guy was doing, you could ask me about how I would rule it, or like what do you think about this case, so that we can reflect that, so that I don't make the same mistakes next time. That's why I say that you should write about something that you didn't like from the other campaign, but no one wrote that! It's very sad, but yes. Can you elaborate on how he was being complex and limiting your choices? Mm. So he wanted to. I I would say that your character is really free on how you like to be. Your background, I absolutely will not touch. I may give suggestions about what it could be, but it's all up to you about your background story. You're the master of your own story for that part, at least. Wah! But yeah, like one of my previous player wanted to have some sort of a mad scientist character, and he wanted to have. There is a level 9 spell where if you do die, your clone will be revived as you, and then yeah, and his background story is that there's this mad scientist, and that he is. Oh, you're back. Yes. Well, maybe I wrapped the story up, but if you die, you would restart this clone. But his character was defect, so that he was revived unsuccessfully, and then that's why he is kind of like lower version of him. And then he tried to he lost all his memories, so that he was studying in the guilds that was previously belonged to him, and then later in the time, all the guilds eventually know that he is like lost all the powers and whatnot, so he decided to turn back the guilds, and then he said that I will vengeance you all, I will show you how great I am, and he left the adventures. Yeah. Op- Optimament? Attunement. Attunement. Attunement is that if you have a magical item, you need to spend certain time with an item in order to understand and fully utilize the power of the magic item. And let's say usually in not magic, Dungeons, D&D, there is a limit on how much magic items you can attune with, so that you cannot have multiple magic items for yourself. So that if you have a sword of sun, and let's say sword of earth shattering, and then you have a helm of teleportation, that's good. But let's say you want to have a boots of haste on top of that, and you cannot have that item with you because you already have a three previously attuned item with you. Yeah? Yeah, it's some sort of limitation they put in so that you cannot have every single magic item equipped on you because it'll be broken in the game. Yes. So before, when you were gone, yes. But with the new system that the whole thing that the Strike brought off, I was saying that you can increase the limit by one by giving up your ability score improvement. But likely that the discussion on the magic items frequency should follow. But I will tell you what we have discussed a little bit when you were away. So we were talking a little bit about the weighting system. Yeah, so that we will set that the inventory management will be done as a Strike as a manager. So the Strike will control what goes in, what goes out from the inventory, and then he will be distributing the loot according to like however he sees fits. But what do you guys think about the weight of the campaign? And is there any? Because yeah. No, not the weight of the campaign, but weight of the item. For example, in the strict traditional D&D settings, every gold weights. So examples, I gave these guys an example of my previous campaign where I gave out 2,000 gold as a starting gold, and immediately they become overburdened if their strength was not good enough. So weight does affect how the characters will play out, so that they had to buy a jewelry instead of having all the goals that can be used at some point, so that they have this expensive jewelry instead, so that they will be waiting less, and then but you cannot use it immediately or that sort of thing. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You want to buy my term? Yeah. So you're suggesting that the currency should not wait until it matters. For example, I gave you a pile of gold, and I give you a specific weight and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. I have to look it up. I am not entirely sure. For my case, for me, there was a automated calculation done for me so that I actually never had to take a look at individual coin weight. There was a character sheet that calculated your weight for you, but I don't think that will work. Yeah, for the automated ones, but for us, at least we will be managing the inventories with the Strike. So yeah. So if you say that the currency does not wait, I'm okay with this. So you're saying, but how about the provisions? For example, the rope that you can use. Likely you will expand it to like bound bandages. I mean bandits. And let's say you have other expensive items, something like ration or water. What do you think about the waiting on those items? What do you think should be done? In real life, they're real hassle to wait because there limits on how far you can go from, let's say you have a point that you can call it home, and then there's not very, you cannot go that far in distance because you're gonna have to carry that much weight, unless you have a horse, that is. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Then we will say that if everyone was okay with it, especially Strike, because he's the inventory master. Yeah, so everything in the game will have weight, and then I would say that depends on the people's strengths. You can distribute you can say that this rope is on someone, however you would like to. And then for the story's convenience, the passing around the items pre-combat or something like that, like unless you're doing it in combat, which I will be a little bit more strict about it, I'll say that it'll be really easy to just transfer you like in between inventories. Yeah. What? Someone said something. I didn't hear it exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, if you're playing Druid, yes. Actually, we should talk about that soon. We will talk about the each classes and what you guys exactly want to play a little bit later. But so that's the weight and ability score we talked about, and what else in the list? Yes, the level of magic. So about the magic items, in from the previous campaign, how often do you like to encounter it? At what levels? And what do you think the world should be like with the magic items frequency? Because if I say that magic items are common for you guys, it'll be common for your enemies as well. So you want it to be a common thing for everyone? Okay. So do you guys all want the magic items to be a rare thing where if you have one, then you're like this really amazing guy? Okay, so like among all your friends, maybe you heard of a friends of a friend who had this magic items, or like a friends of a friends of a friend who had this magic item, but yourself or the people around you generally will not have magic items unless they're the filthy rich nobles, which is a 1% and we're 99%. Yeah. But yeah, magic. Other than the healing potion, because they're actually common magic items, which would be making sense for the general people. And your voice kind of caught up, Chris. Steve. Uh, yeah. And generally about gods, unless you guys want to suggest in any way, generally I support every single god in the player's handbook, and then I implemented them, and then some of them I made it myself and then put it into the lore. If you would like to like do anything specific about your own god, or like some specific god that you definitely want in or out of the campaign, then if you tell me, then I'll look about that god and it will be implementing in the thing. So is there any? Most of the book gods from the Forgotten Realm, I believe. So for example, like the Ogma and Palor, that type of gods. Magalibiet. Yeah. There is a Nine Hells and then Infinite Abyss, and then I would say that both of them are as real and they will be in the game. As I mentioned, that everything in the player's handbook will be almost always true. and everything in the DM send it to this one. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there is a section of the Greek mythology. I did not implement Greek mythology into my campaign. Uh, yeah, the generally the I would say that people should stay away from the real world god because like let's say you're a priest that is worshiping the Jesus or something, then I wouldn't know what to do about that. So it was like whoa. Uh, I believe that I implemented every single non-human deities. That is definitely a fact because I wanted the origin for every single species in the game. And then I implemented some deities from Forgotten Realms and some deities from Greyhawk settings. So nothing from the Dragonlance. But yeah, so if there is no specific god that you want me to put in the game for your character's background, then that will be that. And also, if you're writing an additional background story or something like that, and if you want to incorporate some sort of religion into your background, if you ask me about a god, and or if you could just tell me that what the god is about, then I'll make sure that the part will be in the game properly. So if there is nothing else that you guys want to talk about the gods, then I'll move on to the next one. Okay. All species have arms, most from Greyhawk and Forgotten One. And the next structure guidelines for alignments. So for the alignments, we should have a same understanding of what good and bad and chaotic and lawful is. And maybe I'll start with my understanding of it. And then you guys can say that, no, I want it to be this. And then if you all have an agreeing point, then we will say that that is good and that is evil. And what is lawful and chaotic. For my understandings of someone being good and then someone being evil, is in their intention of trying to help the others. So as a result doesn't matter as long as your intention is pure. So that if you one problem that you're using this is that you could say technically Hitler was evil because he is trying to help his people, not the others. And then it goes around for the same person. So that I think I'm trying to help, but I'm actually killing people. So that that type of thing could be like a problem with that point of view. And also for lawful and chaotic, I think that the major difference between lawful and chaotic is that lawful, you're trying to do, you like what the current society is about. And if you're chaotic, then you do not like what the society is about. For example, if you're a chaotic person, you don't like to be told that what you're doing is wrong because society cannot tell you what's wrong and what is right for that person. And lawful, let's say you're a mafia, you deal with the politicians, you use the current system for your advantage because you like how the setup is, you like it rigged. That is lawful evil. And if you like so that is my understanding of good, evil, and chaotic and lawful in general. So who would like to speak? I think we should all have similar understandings of what lawful and chaotic characters are and good and evil characters are. So that, let's say, so that if someone says that I'm gonna play a lawful character and then later in the time we have a different understanding, and I would say that, hey, that's not lawful, and then you'll say, what? That's totally lawful. Well, situation like it could happen, right? So that we're saying that we should have a similar understanding, at least on the general lines of what is good and what is evil. Hmm. So you think Hitler is good? Oh, good to know about you. It tells about you as a person. Well, good to know more about you, Jacob. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think about this, right? Yeah, is there? What should be added into this rule in order to make it fit more of your idea? So chaotic will not follow your own laws. Oh, okay. Insanity is a common, yeah. Okay. So mood and thoughts moves in unpredictable way for character. So chaotic has no moral code. Okay, so if you're okay with this, then we can say all of them are the traits of chaotic, and all of them that we discuss is a chaotic. No? Yeah? Yeah? This is good. Yeah? Balance is a little bit, in my opinion, the balance is more of a trait of a neutral. Um, but yeah. I actually didn't get the point. Yeah. So you're saying that you're saying that the lawful should have a code that they should strictly follow. Yeah? Yeah? No? Am I understanding? Okay. Lawful should have a strict code to follow. And then that is a good trait as a soldier as well for your character. So yeah, if you have a strict code and then you have like 5 or 10 bullet points or something like that, and then you say that my characters will never want to do these things, then I'll be aware of it and then could make more situations and campaign out of it. So please add them into your character if you do want to follow that. And in terms of a neutrality, I think we all say that in my campaign in the previous times, I would say that greed is a feat of a neutral, not the evil. So self-preservation and about what you would usually say a little bit cruel for not helping others, or not helping others unless there is money involved, only selfish. That is neutral in my opinion. What do you guys think about this rule? Okay. So greedy, selfish is actually neutral. There is a person type that is there must be balance on everything, and everything must be like preserved and going in the wheel. That also is a neutral, but I think like this general definition of yeah. So I think we're all in the same in the laws and what we expect about the alignments. And for the I know that some campaigns allows you to so-called stat sack your stats. So some campaigns allows you to use 2 points for from a stat in order to increase other stats by 1. Some people does that. I don't know. I would do it. I never done that before. I don't necessarily care too much. Yeah. So none of you. So if you guys have any suggestion of like character customization or making, then we can speak now so that we can have it in the game. So that the purpose of that is that let's say you can have a really low strengths but have a really high intelligence, stuff like that. So that let's say you have a 10 on strengths and you have a 10 on intelligent, then you can have a 6 on strengths and then 12 on intelligent. You care about intelligence so much that you like lower other stats in order to increase one. So that's one system as an example. But I'm not saying that I'll put this in. I was only say that if you have any ideas like this that you would like to see in the game, speak now so that everyone can make the characters according to this rule. Mm-hmm. And role is a basic, like the default thing. So yeah, as a player's handbook suggests. Yeah. After that, there is this. Yeah. Okay, then let's go with the standard. If everyone likes it. Character creation will be following the book. Exactly. Yeah. So that's about the customization, and then you can say that I know some people doesn't allow stats to swap. I don't know if that's the case for every case, but I will allow it. So if you guys are clear with that. So usually for getting the stats, you roll the 4 dices, right? And you pick the 3 highest. Some DMs doesn't allow the orders to change, so that you roll, let's say the 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and that becomes straight up your strengths, intelligence, and whatnot. They don't want the orders to be swapped. I would say the orders should be swapped, unless you guys say that it's not. Yeah, that's what I would do too. So yeah, if everyone is clear on that point, then it's fine. Okay. Okay, so the next point. There's a lot of things to talk about. I think we're almost done though. Yeah, so that we now have, so our party has a connection of how you guys met together. But now let's talk about what you actually will play. So, why don't we say that each of our characters' classes and then write them down and then like see how it would go and then let's analyze it. So let's start from Chris. So what is your class and then the race that you would exactly like to play? Human fighter. And Jacob? And Strike? And the last person, Matt, was going to play Artificer. If he would like to. And then he also gave some backups in case things doesn't work out for the compositions, because I know that at least 2 of you cares about the general composition of the group. He says that the human swashbuckler or the barbarian. But we already have a fighter, so it's either the barbarian or the artificer. And it's like a weird mage. Yes. It's a new class from the what was it? The Honors Arcana. So I'd have to read it again. But at the point that I read it, I had an impression that it's a weaker mage, where you'd make like a potion to attack the other guy and stuff like that. Um, yeah, yeah. So it really depends on what he want to do, but still, I think it's more on the utility similar to Wizards of yeah. So that yeah. So we will have Artificer or Barbarian. So we have a one fighter and three potential spellcasters. Are we okay with this? No, but by saying out like this, we know that what you guys are into, right? And if everyone's okay with it, then I'm okay with it. But yeah, and you guys have very little healing right now. In terms of a party composition, I usually do RP heavy so that I actually do not care what the compositions are like. I will make a fun campaign regardless of the composition. Well, I think I don't know which one of you. But one of you said that you guys don't like four rogues or something. I think I I personally don't care too much. But yeah. So in terms of a standard D&D, you guys are miss. Druid is kind of weak on healing in terms of it. Yeah, but so you guys are likely gonna be low on those. So are you guys okay with this composition currently? Willing to lock on? Yeah. So we will recommend him to be a barbarian, and do you guys want to be transformation? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever works. But yeah, uh, I think it's fine for now. Yeah, as long as you guys are happy with this composition, then I'm very okay with it. And typically for Jacob, I believe that the tieflings in the player's handbook at least says that many races hates tiefling, and you're aware of that. Yeah, half demons, and then generally it's like the how the America viewed the black people on like back in 40s. So yeah, there will be like it's 40, whatever. D&D is racist. Through this tiefling, maybe we'll feel the maybe you can feel the race like how those people have felt in the 40s. But yeah, I think mad is. I think mad is also. Yeah, normal is a word that. Yeah, 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 yeah. What is normal? You can define what normal is. Uh, Mad will likely be a human as well. So if he is human, then he'll be a human artificer or a human barbarian. And we will say that. Yeah, both of you are normal one. Yeah. Actually, human fighters are extremely like safe choice for any new beginners or something. So yeah, I think it's a good choice. So that's a composition that we are willing to do, and we integrate. So let's try to think of a Matt's background. because we said that you two, like Strike and Jacob, knows each other because they have worked together because the knowledge that they have is complementary to each other, right? And then you guys work as a team, and then can like have had some background, and then you guys helped Chris's character for getting like upper hands in the fight with the orcs, and you guys got captured with him, so that you guys have this like, yeah, I helped you, buddy, type of mentality. But let's think about the Matt's character and then trying to put that into our campaign so that he feels like he's more related to your characters when he'll be less related because he's not here. Which is sad, but hopefully he doesn't miss it next time. If he does, then I don't know. Probably we'll get a more person or something. But yeah, that's a sad story. But if he is an artificer, or let's say he's a barbarian, then how do you think his background should be made and it should be hooked up to your characters? It's really vague because he haven't gave any specific scenarios. He just said that he is willing to work with the groups on in terms of filling the roles and then the stuff. So I think we can make up general background stories for him. If you guys have any crazy ideas about the background story about a human artificer or barbarian, then I think that's good. Oh! That could work. Was slaved by orcs. Yeah, so that's a good start. But how would that one of those two backgrounds would hook up into who you guys are? No, but like usually it's we could go like you guys meet in the jail, but I want a little bit of history before you guys go into the jail, so that you guys have a little bit. Yeah, that would be perfect. For example, one of you, or if he was artificer, maybe you bought some of his goods, and then maybe you know him from his work or something like that. Any ideas? Barbarian is a side job mercenary. The voices are quite cutting out, so I didn't hear the last parts. Oh, so you're saying that he is known as Orc Slayer? If you want to go that route, I would say that maybe you have your character fought with him as a soldier, maybe? And yeah, we'll have more ideas thrown out so that all of you maybe have something to connect with him at some point. Um, so if he is barbarian, known for killing orcs and fought with Chris's character. Yeah, how about the artificer? Or he could be, maybe he sold artifacts, was a barbarian. Also, he mentioned that his barbarian will be a gentleman, if it is. So that he could be that we could just say that if he was artificer, he's a gentleman. If he's a barbarian, he's a gentleman. Actually, I think artificer should be crazy or something. I think he mentioned. Yeah, actually, he said that he's a Don Quixote, except not crazy. So I think that's crazy, actually. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, is there any ideas that you guys want to hook up this mad artificer into your background? Doesn't have to, but that's good. Yeah. Yeah. He needs a specific ingredient. So Oz purely like a knowledge about like you're interested in other people's work and what they do, and then what he does is a very different field that you're interested, so that your character pays a personal attention in like in terms of like observe what he does, and then trying to see like is that gonna go wrong? That sounds very dangerous and stuff like that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. And any more ideas about how to implement math background into yours? If there's no idea, we can move on. And about yeah, he's no, we just need few so that well, I mean more time than we think about it. Probably we can spar out some, but yeah, if there's any more like just popping out in your head idea, it's fine. We can move on. All right. What else do we have left to talk about? Yeah, you're thinking. Well, then for now we shall move on, and then I think that's good enough. Hulk for a person who is not here, which saddens my heart. But yeah. Also for the EXP, for the person who misses the session, I think we're just gonna have a shared EXP. So that we'll have like a one EXP, unless you guys want to have a separate EXP system, so that you say that oh the people who come more often should be rewarded and stuff like that. Okay. I think that's all we talked about. The actually, I can talk to you about the world that I have in mind, so that to hear if the world that I have in mind is okay with you guys, and then maybe you can use the world that I have in mind in order to make like your background story a little bit more rich. Um, so you can what? Yeah, I can told you about the geological stuffs too. Yes. So I will be hosting you guys at the one of the previous campaign locations that I have played before. So there is three really big parts in this map. One is the upper parts of the map, which is called Nixon. It's equivalent of like an America. So that if you guys said that you guys want to play a darker campaign, then I would it'll be very, very dark. Okay, you know the early America where they sent all the criminals to like Australia and then America, um, well that type of place. And then so it started out as that, and so Nixon was full of those people who were the new settlers, and then they were exploring the like this vast land, and they founded the one really big united like kingdom. And the continent that US will be starting off will be a little bit more old. So that they will be a little bit more on the religions and a little bit more on the nobles. And likely, I think the best place to start you guys off is. Forgot the name. I need that book. And yeah, I did my notes here if I want to go in details, but regardless, um, yeah, just getting on top of my head is hard. But you'll be starting on one of the kingdoms, and there is a place called wow, all the names are pretty hard. Seklay ruins, which are likely the where all the dragonborns and orcs and those tribes are living in this deserted land. And then there is a forest nearby that is right beside, which I believe it will be the for the strikes the dragonborn will be from, and it will be like likely you'll be captured into the Seklai ruins, where one of the warlords of the barbarians will be there, or we said that it'll be happening in a trade road, so that it'll be more closer to the kingdom on the other side, which was one of the oldest kingdom that was founded, and maybe you will be in the borderline of that desert area into this kingdom area, and then you're in this trade routes. So yeah, and then generally that area is one of most famous god in that area is the Ogma. Is a god of knowledge that is in the player's handbook, and another kingdom that is another god that is famous in that area is called the Mother, which is specifically on like helping people, and then never like this is in terms of alignment is a neutral good, and generally there are a lot of priests going around and pilgrimaging the whole world. And for in terms of the history for the orcs, for your character, orcs are constantly were a fight with the dragonborns in histories actually in this world, and it was invading the other kingdoms and whatever. What was that sound? Interesting. But yeah, so orcs were a really big force of nature at some point, but right now it was limited into this corner at the end, and likely like with this events that you guys have triggered with the Silk Road being captured by this orc, something maybe more will be brewing up. And between the continents, there is like the secret, you know, the Underdark, right? Have anyone heard of Underdark? Underdark is a huge underground caverns below the, like really deep in the surface, where the mysterious creatures live in that area. So what they utilize is that in this world, there is a thing called the Great Current. So that there is a really strong current that flows under the water that can be used to like directionally move one person from one continent to the other. So that type of thing like used to like send up all the criminals to the other side, and there are a few ways to come back, but that is the thing. And there is a in the center of the continent. Usually there is three really technologically advanced kingdoms. But I believe that for now I'm going to tone them down, because we said that we want to see more of more fantasy, less of the technologies, so that they will be a little bit toned down. At some version, they wanted to see really high technical stuff, so I had like some sort of a Gundam made for them. But likely it will be much toned down version of that in this campaign for you guys. Is there any like specifics on the details on the kingdoms and around that you guys have question with? Generally, generally, most of the kingdoms are human. Ones on the middles are either the technology advanced for, that one is for the dwarves, and for what was the tiny people? Forgotten there. Halflings, yes. It was for halflings and the dwarves, and then above there is actually merfolk kingdoms and whatnot, and then the elves, they're actually on the upper side of the continent. And there is two big human kingdoms, one on the top. If I just magically is, if the desert is here, the human kingdom's really big one is here and there, and you guys will be around this section. where the border between the two kingdoms will be. Now, if I can only remember the name of the kingdom. Yes, my brain is killing me. Yeah, is there any more ideas that you guys want to hear about, more about the world where you can use for your current background story? Nixon is a name of a kingdom and a continent. It's the only kingdom in that area. It's really, really big. Yeah? Any more questions? Seklai ruins. I can tell you the Seklai. I can tell you the exact like spelling and stuff, but I don't think we'll be putting too much emphasis on spelling in this campaign. It's Seklai, Seklai, but yeah, and Seklai ruins. Not the ruins, but ruins. You know the like runes where like you jewelry with the words on it? Yeah. Yeah, is there... Yeah. Okay. Also, if you want to write some more about the... You mentioned that your character may be working with the wizard, right? Working for an archmage or something like that. If you are thinking about like, if you just write like a general things about the archmage, then I can pick some like kingdoms for that archmage and stuff like that. So that I'll tell back, say that this archmage is actually from this and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think the general world, unless you have a vague idea about like what you will be facing. And yeah, for the actual character sheets, if you guys would write up a character sheet with a background story, it could be separated. A background story could be like into some other like documents or something, and if you send me in a message, or you can put them all in like a Google Doc or something and send me the link, that's fine too. If you guys send me before the campaign, at least I would like the day to look at it. If you can send me by the next Friday, that'd be perfect. Are you guys fine with the duration that you're given with? I would say that you should roll the stats when you're making the character sheets. And if you put the subs in there, then that'd be great too. Yeah. I didn't hear the later parts, but stats, I trust you guys on how you guys roll it, really. If you guys have, like, yeah, as long as you guys don't cheat, then that's fine. I trust you guys. And also that comes into the question. Oh. Well, it's unfortunate because I rolled 22 for all my NPC characters. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. I think commoners in this world are 22. I don't know what to say, but you guys, yeah, need to work a little bit harder for rolling. Yeah, but yeah, you roll 4 dice. You roll 4 dice, and I rolled 7, 7, 8. So somehow in D6. So yeah, I got 22. I don't know how. Yeah, and that comes with some of the things for the Roll20. I see that they have a feature for rolling a dice. Do we want to use that for rolling, or no? Because I'm fine with the players rolling the dice on their table and then just telling me the result, unless they're cheating. Unless you think that person is cheating or something. But I don't think I'm just gonna trust in my players. So that if you guys want to roll your own table and tell me the result, that's fine too. If you don't, then just roll in the roll 20. Unless you guys have any concerns or worries, and you can tell me right now. So that... yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I guess you instead of rolling like d20 like 5 times, you just write it in the d20, and that's more convenient. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I actually wasn't aware of that feature, so what do you suggest? If you would tell me how I would make it and give it to you, then I would do that. If you would just send me one in the, like, just a regular PDF, then I'm okay with that too. Either way, whatever you feel comfortable with. Uh... Oh. This is interesting. I wasn't aware of this. Though this one doesn't have stats in it. Oh, okay, okay, I see, I see. So you guys can make this too then? Um... I click show to players, I guess. Can you see the Lolopop Oju? So someone can edit this. But you cannot edit it. Yeah, that'd be perfect. This is what I mean, but I'm new here. Yeah. Oh, it says can be edited. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. So, yeah. So I changed this one to all players. So any of you can edit this right now. So you just make 4 of these and sounds good. Pretty good. Yeah. So the token characters and that for is that you want to have a picture for, yeah. Your voice is really cutting out. Your character's voice cut out a lot right now. I mean, yeah, it's really hard to hear you. So I can put these characters... Oh, I can do that. That's nice. So like that. You can see, everyone can see this? What are these? Hmm. Yeah, that's... What is this, that green and... You see the numbers? What are these being used for generally? Oh. Okay. I guess it could be like the priority orders and stuff like that. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like usually, like I'm very new to this, so that I'll be having a hard time using these interfaces efficiently. I see some stuffs like you can prepare the maps and do some like awesome stuffs with it, but I think I'll be having a hard time with those. So. Yeah, actually, this is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I got like half of that, or less. No, it's just that it's. I was looking at like where is this? I just cause add turn button and then it blew my mind, and I was like, oh. Yes, zoom button. Popping out. Page toolbar? Where? Maybe I can show you guys my... Yeah, I have a sidebar section. Mouse cursor in the box, I do not see. Where is the clock? Hmm. I cannot see your screen. How do I... Okay, I'm looking at your screen. Yeah, I can see the circle you're picking at. Yeah. Oh, that bar. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely be using this. I think this is very useful. Thank you. Is there... I think mostly it's not that I don't know what to ask because I don't know much about it. So likely I'll be missing out on these type of features a lot. But yeah, I think this is a good time to learn stuff. Yeah. So you guys will be filling out the character sheets from this website here. Yeah. Specific player. Yeah, not the. Yeah. The Eve to Strike and to. Second one, the Loli Ojiu to Chris. Yeah. And the third one to Matt. And the last one to Jacob. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have a problem with the PDF one? Yeah. Yeah, that one is quite heavy. I can, yeah. You can't what? You cannot. Let me see. Can be edited and controlled by Strike. Can be edited and, it says. Weird. Yeah, I gave, the Busesti should be Jacob. Yeah, you. I'll make a new character for you, Strike, and maybe that will work. I'll just name it Strike, and yeah, try that one. Does that work? Your voice is cutting out again. This is quite sad. We may need to use some other video chat. So I see the Roll20 as a video playing it, so why doesn't it display video for all the other persons? So you guys see my image there, right? You guys see my picture and then the Strike's picture in the Roll20, right? Yeah. Why don't we try the voice chat there so that we know that the voice issue, because I hear a lot of cutting, and this will be pretty sad in the actual campaign. Yeah, so I'll be leaving it here. Let's try to migrate into the Roll20 natural chat and the video. Oh my goodness, this is spooky hearing your voice twice in a row. I have both the Google and Roll20 open. Do you know why like my picture is half cut off in Roll20? Hey, it works. I hear your voice twice. Nice. I'm like cut off right here though, for some reason. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I think let's see in long term if this one's voice quality is better. So, Strike, is your character okay right now? Can you write? Milliner is actually... let's see. Oh, okay. So does it have to be in player's journals too? Okay, so I had you guys can be like edited in control, but it wasn't in the player's journals. So yeah, I didn't know you had to set up both. Okay, I'll. Uh, I'll just keep that as a record on my side. It's I don't think I need to use a system for. Also, the identification. Usually in general D&D campaign, when you gain a magical item, you just spend an hour in just staring at it in short rest in order to identify the item. That's actually what they do. But I want to use a rule where, because there's a spell as a wizard that you can cast to identify the item, I want to use that for identifying purposes only. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, so if they have any spell slot left at the end of the day, they can just spend that spell slot in order to examine it. And yeah, so that, like, like, let's say. Yeah, I believe that you guys already have a wizard in your team. I think it's perfect for, especially in your group. And is my picture cutting out for you guys too? Right? Why? So, well, I'll. Uh, well, I'll just reload and then see what happens. Okay, I reloaded. I'm slightly more in, except I can see myself still cut out a little bit. Eh. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Yep, I just reloaded and his skirt is black for me. It was fine before I reloaded. Okay, I'm gonna reload once more, maybe see what happened. Actually, I'm gonna restart the Chrome. Okay, I can see everyone now. I could see Strike. I could. He just... Oh, he appeared again. Okay, that's good. Yeah, this is perfect. Except that I'm still cut off! Ah, whatever. Who need to see my voice? Oh. Well, your picture was black when we saw it, so that was weird. Um... Oh, that's probably more convenient. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of the maps and stuff, I think I know that probably you guys or the Roll20 has some magical way of pre-preparing the map, I believe. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Probably for me, I'll be just preparing it on the paper, and then I'll be copying over in the real time. And if that gets annoying very quick, then I will do something about that, and then probably like use the Roll20 system later on. Yeah, yeah. Now the thing is, one thing that I didn't want to do is that I want every maps to look prepared, whether it was prepared or not, because I want to keep the linearity like not there. I want it to be non-linear, so that if the encounter was not planned, then they should feel exactly the same as the encounter that was planned, at least in terms of art style. Yeah, so that's why I don't want to like pre-prepare the map so that it just happens like boop, and then so every map I'll be looking at something and will be drawing something. Basically, that's the idea. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, for example, the NPCs pictures. For the previous campaigns, I was thinking of getting a picture for each of the NPCs, and it was displaying it. I may do it, but one of the reasons that why I didn't do it for the other campaign was that if I would just if you would just talk to a random person on the street, I sometimes actually prepared a random interaction so that that interaction and then another random NPC wouldn't feel any differences because both of them you wouldn't have any pictures for it. Um, so that's one thing that I may change in the future. But for now, until there is a noticeable problem, I will not prepare images or for the maps or the characters. Yeah. Uh, I think that covers everything that we need to do for the this session here. Is there before we are officially done? Is there any questions that, or anything that we should discuss before we officially end? Yeah. I have most of the materials myself. Uh, I think it's good to post it so that the other people can have something to look at if they want to know more about the world. But yeah, I mean, why not? It's a resource. Wow. Always good to have more. I think I may take a look at the Bolos guide because I skimmed through it and I don't owe it myself. So. Nice. Wow, it has a Pathfinder too. Nice. Call of Cthulhu. Yes. I wanted to Call of Cthulhu. I wanted to do the Call of Cthulhu at some point. There was Pokemon? Interesting. But yeah. Well, there's no pony in here, so I'm slightly sad. I see your character. Yeah. Yeah. So, is there any more questions or something that you want to discuss about? Strike, Jacob. Okay. If everyone's good, I think I'll conclude this. I will upload a video on the YouTube and we'll share a link in somewhere in this chat. I'll be giving the same link and then I'll send the notes that we have recorded into in that Google Doc. I'm gonna write a more organized version of that, and then we'll be posting it again so that we have the same expectation. And the next session we will be planning at the same time, which is a Saturday, 4 p.m. We will meet again. And yeah, and the character sheets, if you complete it at the end of the Friday, so that like, let's say 10 p.m. sounds good. Yeah, 10 p.m. so that I get at least some time, at the worst case, after that, before I sleep, to look at the character sheets in order to integrate more to the story. Okay, that would be perfect too. Okay. That's good. Some players are like, I'll send you next week, and then the next week you'll say, I forgot about it. I'll send you it the next week, and then send me the next. Yeah. Yeah, inventory is fine. Also, yeah. I would say that you start with your class and background, and then if you want to, you can sell them at the same price that was written in the player's handbook, and then get another items. And I believe that the choice was either you start with whatever is given with your character, or you roll for the gold that is written, depends on your class, and then you can buy whatever item you want to buy with it. So either way, I'm happy with it. Yeah, and in terms of the perks, when you guys do write a character sheet, if you want, you can put down like what kinda you want to get for that character, so that I have a better idea and then see like, yeah, that's fair, and then I'll give some version of it. Yeah. So there was a group, for example, there was a bard. I think that was one of the most strongest perk that I gave a person. So that person said that he is a bard and he follows a hero and then follow their journey about how that turns out to be. So that one of the perk that I gave him is that heroes never die. For those who play Overwatch, but yeah. Yeah, so that what he does is that if he would use any of his abilities in order to save the hero that he designated, then he gets a maximum roll instead of rolling for it. So that person in specific can get the maximum advantage from healing. Not for the other person, though. It is really good one. That's one of the example about his background, because in his background, he wrote paragraphs and paragraphs about his character searching for the true hero to sing about. So I want you to think about something that reflects your character's background. What it condenses into this one perk. That you got this because you dedicated your previous life into that. Yeah, it was something to think about. But yeah, something fun. Alright, I think the session is officially concluded. Woo! Yeah, I hope you guys all had fun in the session 0 until... Yeah, it took 2.5 hours around. Yeah! Yeah, I'll now gonna stop the streaming at least. So that